back to the main screen, then we just close this window. Which always seems like you're gonna exit out of the whole thing.
Moving, oh, there we go.
Yeah, once, now you can switch it over. Yeah. Okay, the thing is on and being live streamed, so
It's 3:30.
it is 3:30.
At 3:30, I'd like to call this Wapaka County Solid Waste Management Board meeting in order. March 13th. Looks to me like we do have plenty here before we do the roll call. This meeting, all other meetings of this board are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the media in accordance with Wisconsin statutes, so the citizenry it may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting. Looking at roll call, Fred Zog is zooming the meeting. He asked me if I would run it for him. I said I would. I think everybody's here, John.
Yes, everybody's accounted for. We have Fred, Marianne, and Ken on Zoom.
Good. So I need a review and approval of the agenda, but before I ask for that, is there any changes or anything? Be aware of?
Nope.
Okay, I need a motion to approve it.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Wrong second. John Miller makes the motion to approve it. Fred Zog seconds it. Okay. For approval of minutes of previous meeting.
Well, we gotta call that.
February 2023.
We gotta call that
So moved.
All in favor? Okay.
for the agenda.
All
Yeah.
of the agenda, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, John.
Yep.
Approval of minutes of previous meeting, 13th of February, 2023. Anything? No changes? Need a motion? Ken Van Dyke made the motion.
Second, Zog.
I got two here, Fred.
Okay.
Jeff, got it, I think.
Sue, I think it was you.
Oh,
Second was
okay.
Sue
Good
Golding.
job.
Okay.
Sorry, Sue, I didn't hear you.
It's hard to
We
tell.
both breathe.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment, correspondence, anything, John, or
I have none.
no?
Nope.
Okay. Moving forward, number 3, update on solid waste hauling contract bid process.
Okay, just so you're aware of where we're at on this whole thing, we got all the bid documents together for using 4 different landfill options and putting it out for haulers, and it went out today. So it should be posted on the county's website. I haven't got an email back from them saying that it's on there yet, but it went to the paper this morning, and Jenny is gonna direct mail to the list of contractors that we knew that might be interested in it. So we should be good on notice there. The intention is to have everything out there for basically a month. I got the time frame here. So the proposals are due into the solid waste office here at 9 AM on the 7th of April. That's a Friday. And then we don't have all the issues with mail and whatever. Seems like people always try and get it on if you have it on a Monday, they try and mail it on a Friday and then we don't get it and whatever. Trying to avoid that as much as possible. So we'll do just a brief bid opening at the office. We just do that ourselves, and then if anybody's interested, they can get the results at that point, any of the contractors. But no action is taken on it until the next solid waste meeting, which is on the 10th of April. So our next solid waste meeting will have, hopefully we'll have some bids to consider. Now, I expect we're gonna have some things we'll have to talk about, because it's a 3-year contract and we're asking them to give us a price, so I'm fairly certain that these companies are gonna say, well, we want to have some sort of escalator in there, and how they do that. And my intention, and that's the way we did it last time, was that all those details are worked out in the end on the actual contract that we have with the winning bidder proposal person. So that's the intent, but they can put that, hopefully, if they're gonna have escalators in there, they can give that to us up front, and then we can hopefully compare these numbers and make sense of it, you know. So at that point, hopefully we'll have our ducks in a row and be actually ahead of the game for when the contract expires in the end of July. So
So we got 3 months
Yeah,
or
I
so.
thought it was June, John.
what's that?
Thought it was June with the Go Green or whatever that outfit is.
No, it goes through July 31st, so the August 1st would be the start date of the new contract.
Okay.
And then 2026 will be the end, July 31st. So,
Are you getting any feeling from anybody that's in our business of what's going on? And
well, we'll see. You know, we had a couple, we had a trucker that was interested and, you know, had some input on what they thought was interesting. We met with GFL again and they said they were interested in bidding on it. Obviously, we'll see what kind of bid they come up with and I got good response from the landfills as far as pricing. So the only one I haven't got a set number on yet is from the GFL landfill. So if they don't get a number to us, then we just won't consider those ones. So that's there'll be some good discussion at the next meeting, I would hope, you know, so we can hopefully get ourselves a decent deal and save the taxpayers a little money. So
Why, John? Fred here again. I will not tolerate a GFL trying to bully their way through just because they think who they are. So we'll keep everybody honest on it. Thing.
yeah, and I think by doing it the way we're doing it, it gives everyone a fair shot at it, you know.
Good.
And you know, and that's where when we get to the contract part, that's when we have to be close on the details, make sure the details are right, everything's spelled out. Because that last time, our last contract, there was nothing in there about the price of diesel goes over a certain amount, whatever. There was nothing like that in there. The only thing in there was if they need more money for some reason, they can come to this board and request something, you know, so.
And Linda, his son came back. Remember that?
Yep.
After the fact.
It worked. Most companies now, I would be surprised if they didn't have something built in there after this last spike in diesel and all that stuff. Almost all the curbside pickup contracts have some sort of clause in there about the price of fuel or whatever, you know, or some consumer price index keyed upon that sector, you know, so I'm sure we'll see some stuff that's kind of interesting. We'll have to educate ourselves on what exactly they're proposing, so.
Yeah,
My question
Okay.
was just to clarify for me. When you talk about the hauling contract, that includes the transportation vehicle, the trucking to the landfill expense?
Yeah, and this is just the solid waste one, and it is, they provide the trailers. We fill the trailers, they provide the trucks and the trucker, you know, so basically they bring trailers in, we fill them up and they take them to the landfill and bring them back, so.
it doesn't include the hauling cost. I mean, you can explain why you did it. We're just looking at them pricing out 3 different or 4 different landfills to see if there is different rates for hauling to each. So like GFL might offer a cheaper rate to haul to their landfill because it's nice for them to get that waste and then we might get a better deal. Or like Marathon County offered a cheaper rate per ton for solid waste, but it's a little further. So like we can look and see like, okay, to haul there, it's a little more, but the savings on landfill,
Balance,
yeah,
okay.
so.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
Bill, that's the question I had. It's it's for the truckers that gets the bid to negotiate and put that in the bid package of what the landfill will charge. That's not a.
No, we're
We don't have
separating
a
that.
separate, we don't have a separate contract with a landfill. It's just with the trucker and he does the landfill.
Right,
Okay.
you know, and right now we don't have a, you know, any kind of contract with the landfill, other than we have a price agreement. But we can we can look around and see who's gonna give us, best. Maybe it'll be Outagamie County again, you know, who knows? We just wanna try and open it up a little bit so we can get a good picture of what's out there. And hopefully it works. That's the one good thing about doing it kind of early here is that, you know, if it turns out real messy and, you know, and everyone's like, oh, this is the awful way to do it, you know, then we got a chance to do it again, you know? So I hope we don't have to, but I think,
Prior to this, Gratian had been doing it, right?
That's who our contract is with.
yeah,
Right, but now he's sold out and I heard none of his employees are with that new one anymore.
I don't
Who's
know.
that?
Is there a chance he could rebid?
I don't
Is
think
that part
Gratian
of
is
it?
the business anymore, is it? You
It's not
know?
an entity.
No,
anymore.
no. GFL took everything over. Grayson's just the real estate business now.
Yep. So it's, you know, Gratian is basically gone and GFL is there. And, you know, so as far as the waste haulers in the area, we've got GFL, you've got Waste Management, and who am I forgetting? Harders,
Harder.
you know.
So those are the only three that can bid it?
No.
That's why we're doing it this way is so that we can, hopefully, a normal trucking company could bid on this. And then there's a lot more trucking companies than there are waste companies.
There's, in fact, I know of one that comes out of, I don't know, Elman Bancroft area, and he hauls from transfer stations like up in Point Clover to the Rapids Waste, and he's
Yep.
just a trucking company.
Yeah.
Cause I knew a guy that drove for him, so it had nothing, you know, he just did the transportation.
Yep.
And
He had
they have
nothing
a
to do with
really
solid waste
good-
pickup.
They pay a good price, like a reasonable price
Yeah.
for that. so-
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
And if you know somebody, point them towards our website, the county website. It would be on the bids and proposals section of the website and or send them to our office. We can get them and pointed in the right direction. Because the more people that know about it, the better chance we got of
yeah.
somebody giving us a decent bid on it. So,
That's why I asked that question about Gratian, because I heard there's some bad blood out there and he could become a trucking company if he
Well,
wanted.
he could.
yeah,
That was the only reason I asked that question.
Oh, well, he might, yeah.
And he's done it and he knows how to do it.
yep. So,
So John,
Trailers.
a quick question. Does this include the the few recyclables that are still at the recycling centers, at the drop-off centers? Or is that completely separate?
Sure. No, Mary Ann, that's a separate contract that we have with GFL, and that comes up at the end of this year. So we are gonna look at that after this one is finished. So like probably in July, I'm guessing we'll start to talk about what's next. They did state that they're losing money on that. So I imagine when we're reworking it, it'll be more expensive. But
Okay, thanks.
yeah,
Is Fox Brothers aware of this?
yes, they are on our list of companies that were direct mailing.
Okay,
So that would be nice too, you know, a local company that we deal with and we know well.
My different. trailers.
right, and closer for them, so that might give them an advantage too.
Yep. Yeah, so we tried to come up with something that would give people an advantage if it, you know, a distance was a thing, you know, because we're just paying them from the PTF to the landfill and back, you know. If they're close to that route or it's on their route somehow or another, they've got an advantage, you know. So like say somebody that's got a company in between the Outagamie County landfill and our facility, it would be cheaper for them to go to Outagamie County's landfill, so they can give us a lower price on that one. Whereas if
But John,
it may cost them more to go to the Marathon County one or something, you know? Fred?
but John, are you gonna end up with two different bids then? One for the trucking company, one from the landfill source, like
We're doing
Outagamie?
the landfills separate. We got some quotes from the landfills that we're just using that as a number. You know, they're saying it's gonna be X amount per ton. So we're gonna I have those numbers except for the GFL one. And we're gonna be able to combine the price per pull with the price per ton to try and see which one makes the most sense, you know, all together. Cause like if the landfill, one of the landfills is giving us a really good rate and the trucking's a little bit more to it, it might make sense for us to go to landfill, you know.
Yep.
But the other way around is the same,
Okay.
you know, if we're getting a really low trucking cost to a landfill and then that landfill is really expensive, that could go the other way. So that's why we're trying to
Gotcha.
do it that way. You give a, hopefully it works.
So it sounds like you guys have a pretty good handle on it.
Yeah,
That sure sounds good, doesn't it, Ken?
sounds all right to begin with. I'm sure, you know, it'll blow up in my face somehow or another, but
Bottom line is.
Mr. Van Dyke, we trust Mr. Francis.
You betcha.
well, thanks, guys. Okay, anybody else questions on that one?
Capital project updates then?
All right. Well, just a little update on that stuff. You know, Joe's been working on the forklift stuff. I got a list of our capital stuff. Just so you know where we're at with things. So they're I don't know, the PTF office remodel deal. We're still waiting on the cabinets to come in for that front office. Then that will pretty much be done. The heating and cooling thing, Joe's been looking at some stuff with the heater. Any progress on that end?
No, I'm just basically shopping at Menards,
Yeah,
trying to get a heater and
yep, making sure we're doing the right thing there and that we can do what we're talking about doing.
talk to inspectors.
Yep.
Talk to, you know, if we need permits, if we have to do anything. So
So far, so good. And then for capital for 2023, we have a forklift. We have $40,000 to replace a forklift. Originally, we were talking about taking that one that we have and kind of giving that to the Parks Department to use and then buying a new one for the PTF because the Parks doesn't use one that much. But after pricing the equipment, you know, like everything else, things have gone up quite a bit. So now we're gonna be trading in our old one.
Right.
And hopefully with the trade-in, we'll have enough money to be able to afford one. So, and as far as making things work for the parks people, it doesn't take a whole lot to come up, you know, or come down to the PTF and use that one. And as part of this deal, we've got a couple battery powered forklifts that we got from WCI, was it?
yeah,
Yeah, WCI. The batteries are bad, you know, and they don't hold a charge anymore. The one the parks has up there, it's really kind of handy having a forklift around, but you know, you use it like 2 or 3 times and then the battery's dead, you know, for a few minutes, you know. So we're gonna, instead of having those as part of a trade-in, because the companies have been saying, you know, they're basically scrap value to them. We will put those forklifts and the charger on that Wisconsin surplus. And
Good idea.
county can hopefully get something out of that and then we can get rid of those pieces of equipment. And I think you were saying that there's nothing they do that we can't do with the new one, right? Yeah. So the forklift is a big one and the other stuff there, do you want to talk a little bit about these 3 things? You got the backup generator, heater, the heater thing, and then a concrete slab in front of Has Waste.
I got 2 bids for the generator. Another guy was supposed to come last week and bid that out. I think we did get a bid in 21 for a backup generator and it was just under 10 grand. So we put that out for a couple bidders, trying to get 3 estimates on that. And as concrete, I'm just waiting. We got one in, and then I'm waiting for another one to come back with an estimate. So
And it was one of those highway.
yep, I'm waiting for the highway estimate. Yep.
Yeah. It's nice if we can use highway because then they're just, you know, they're right there and they do good work.
Yep.
So,
They do.
so that is about it for the capital stuff. We had that big expansion we were gonna do in the tipping floor, but that all got canceled. So I see it was still on our list, the county list But they talked about it at finance at the last meeting and said, Heidi said that they're taking that off of there. So when I see that out there, I was like, oh, I thought we took that off of there, you know? So that's going away. So any questions about capital stuff?
Moving to number 8, Wisconsin Integrated Resource Management Conference. We got snowed out, you notice that?
Yeah.
I ended up going on Friday morning because I couldn't have got there on Thursday. I got up early Friday morning. I thought, I wonder what the roads look like. So I said to the wife, I'm gonna try to go over. If it's good, I'll go down 10 and I'll go across on foot. And they were fantastic. But the day before, it was terrible, you know. It's like what happened this weekend is what we got again. But, so I didn't get to see what I wanted to see, but I saw some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Well, comment Taylor first. You got the whole show.
Sure, yeah. Well, I thought I'd give a review of the Wixwama meeting first. Fred is a member of the board on that committee.
And you attended it for Fred.
Yeah, it's stands for the Wisconsin County Solid Waste Management Association, I believe. So they had an open position, which was filled by Dave Hagenbush from Marathon County Solid Waste. But they are still down a policymaker position. One of the board members, Jerry Newhauser, I think is how you say his last name, he attended WasteCon, which is a really big waste conference in the industry. It was in San Diego this year, and gave a report. And just the main takeaway, it's a more technical conference meant for like the public sector. Their financials as an organization are good. And then there's 3 organizations. There's Wixwama and then SWANA, which is the Solid Waste Association, like nationally, and then Arrow, Associated Recyclers of Wisconsin. Those 3 groups put on the conference, and they are actually all working together to provide different training opportunities for the industry. So I just was sent a survey about that process and the different, you know, things that they're wanting to offer. They want to get feedback from the members first, but that's kind of cool. And then they selected 3 scholarship awardees and created a new scholarship for Melissa Johnson. It's the Melissa Johnson Award, and it'll be a more prestigious scholarship, harder to get, more money. She was the director of Marathon County Solid Waste for a really long time and just did a lot of good things for the industry and recently retired. And she's actually now running for mayor for the city of Stevens Point. So not really retired, I guess, just moving on to
Hey,
something
Taylor?
else. Yeah,
Hey, Taylor, you're talking about Jerry Neuser,
yeah.
I think, from
Yes,
Manitowoc.
that's right. Yep,
Okay.
that's how you say his name. Thank you.
Was I up for election this time or not?
I believe I think you told them you wanted to stay on, so they kept you on
Yeah.
the board.
They put me on anyway. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
That's good.
Fools.
What was that? Who said that?
I said,
Oh.
congratulations, Fred.
I know where you live, Van Dyke.
But that was about it. Oh, this is the last thing, sorry. So they're being a co-sponsor of a PFAS conference, which is taking place on May 2nd in Wausau. PFAS, it's like the polyfluorinated something carbon, and it's an issue in solid waste. It's like kind of like the hot buzzword because they're finding it in leachate from landfills. And if you have that, then it needs to be treated. It's commonly like found in like firefighting foam, fire retardants, fabric.
Things that repel water, like
Yeah.
Scotch Guard on furniture and
Non-stick
carpet and.
hands.
Yep.
And it's like really cancer causing. It's not good. It's not a good chemical. And it's unfortunate because they don't break down and they have like a million different variations and they're all terrible for the environment and human health. So solid waste facilities, landfills especially, unfortunately are kind of like getting the bad end of the stick because now they're getting all this bad stuff put into them and having to deal with that. So I'm assuming I went to some talks about PFAS in previous years at conferences. I am not around on May 2nd. I'm off that day. headed out of the country, so I will not be able to attend that
What?
conference.
You
I
You
can
be
send-
careful. I'm going to Mexico.
I'm going to Europe. So,
Oh, okay.
so
So
I
I
will,
saw,
I can get more information about the conference if anyone is interested. We don't have
may
a
I interject,
landfill,
Taylor?
so I don't
May I
know.
interject for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh,
Sorry.
I think a guy like Ken, who's been on top of this for a long time, is a guy who should probably go, and we should cover it for him. 'Cause this is the stuff that Ansel Company in Marinette, they manufacture all these overhead sprinklers in restaurants above the
Mhm.
cooking area. And it's very basically killed the groundwater around Marinette and Cribbs. So, and I know it's been a bug for Ken for a long time, and I think we should let him go or send him.
Where is it?
It's in Wausau.
And when again?
It's on May 2nd. I can get more information and let you know next month.
Okay,
Are we good for me to keep going?
Yes.
Okay. And then, one other thing I wanted to mention, we had the Arrow, annual meeting, and I was actually elected to their board of directors, so another
Congratulations.
responsibility. Thank you. So I'll be doing that. And then our keynote speaker, her name was Jasmine Crow Houston, and she's the CEO of a company called Gooder. She had to present via Zoom because her flight was canceled because of the storm. But I pulled up a video of what it was because I thought what she's doing is really interesting, and it's a short video, better than me explaining it. This is not it.
You gotta share screen.
Oh, wait, yeah, shoot. Oh, shoot. Now I don't know what I'm doing here. All right, let me go back and then let me share my screen. Sorry, guys. How do I make them get smaller?
You can't mess with that.
Yes, I can, right? There. we go.
Oh. Mm, mm, mm. Oh. Oh.
So she is the founder of that organization. Oh, boy. Sorry.
Sorry. Let's get into that.
Um,
I like that song.
she's the founder of that organization, and it was just really interesting. Yeah, they have that app so they can track like how much food they're donating. Like it said in the video, they work with larger organizations, and then they partner with like certain amount of food groups that are in the area that are serving food to people who are hungry and in need. There's something else I was gonna say about her. They are a for-profit company. She didn't want to rely on volunteers. She believes that companies value more, you know, when they're paying for a service. And she actually just landed an account with Dunkin' Donuts. So they're working with all Dunkin' Donuts across the country. So whenever they have excess food waste. So yeah, it's a really a cool organization. They started, I think, in 2016 or 15, and then really got going in like 2017, 18, and then COVID hit and she almost thought that they were gonna have to go out of business, but there was like so many schools that had all of this excess food and there was supposed to be, was it some big event in Atlanta that had to get canceled, and that's where she's based out of. So they had a lot of food that they were able to divert during that time. And I think it's in the millions of pounds that they've diverted over the years. So that was very interesting. And then last thing I would mention is my favorite session I think I attended was actually called Onboarding for Success. And it gave me an idea. I want to implement, and I talked to John and he's on board about an onboarding process for new solid waste management board members. So I would create a packet, handout for every new member, and the packet would contain just like an overview of our program, abbreviations and definitions sheet, and then a member municipality map. Because there is like a lot of lingo and stuff to know. And I feel like we could do a better job of like looping all of you in. So my goal is to have this completed by April in case we have any new members elected. And then I know a lot of you guys are new in the last year or two, so it will be, I hope, beneficial to you as well. So it was a good conference overall. Unfortunate that you all couldn't come that had signed up.
So I went by default. I decided about on Wednesday with the bad weather that was coming. I don't know, it was Tuesday, I talked to you, I said, can we get refunded if I don't go? And she checked and got back to me, no, we couldn't.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, when I got up to Friday morning, I knew I did good on Thursday because of the weather. And I'm gonna go over there. Well, when I got there, the gal, she kind of looked around a little bit. She says, well, you paid for yesterday and you're not getting refunded. It's no problem. Come on in. So,
Yeah.
but I just thought, I didn't have nothing going that day anyway, but I'll tell you, I don't know as much about it by far as Taylor, but a few things I didn't realize that Land's End, the company in southwestern Wisconsin, is really zero. Nothing in landfills. They've got it clean, and I never realized that. Did you know
Yeah.
anything about it? Do you want to comment on Land's End?
Yeah, they did a presentation on their zero waste efforts and all the different things that they're doing, and that they're very committed to zero waste. So that was interesting. They're also had like a Zoom, half in-person presentation, and the Zoom part was a little bit of an issue. The guy kept getting disconnected, but what they're doing is really interesting. There's more push, I think, in the clothing industry because they are pretty wasteful.
When you stop and think, Wisconsin produces 8 million tons a year for the landfill. And 45% of it could be recycled. It's not, but I mean, it's something as a group, we got to push forward on. There's no question about it when I start looking at some of the statistics. I guess the other Land's End, they've got it so they can get refibered clothing, has the potential that they can reuse the cotton again.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest one there's been, is because everything's being added to cotton as far as materials, which was interesting. The other neat one that I thought was how one Minnesota processing facility is tackling 75% diversification. It was Newport as a city. It's near Washington County along the river. It's near the Twin Cities. But it was interesting about they run 364 days a year around the clock, just doing recycling. That's how busy it is. Now, that's just one little blimp in the United States when you think about it, what's really going on. They went all over the world checking stuff out. I mean, they were in Italy, they were all over to get to where they were at, and they gotta look more. They operate 2 processing lines 364 days a year. I'm assuming they take off for Christmas.
Yeah, that was the day I think they said.
What is the diversion rate you said?
They want to set Minnesota set a 75% diversion rate.
75%.
So
This processing plant, it's called Recycling and Energy Center. They fuel 12,500 homes just from their processing setup, which is crazy. I mean, when you think about it, the gases that they're getting, it's fabulous. And then another thing, they got these machines that it's all automated, so they're not hand sorting, and they bounce it through stuff, and they're very expensive machines, and they're rebuilding them all the time from what I could tell. But they'll pull 80,000 pounds of aluminum out of their garbage every week.
So,
Think how much cans are going in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was almost scary and eye-opening, I guess the best way to put it. What's, you know, we gotta look out way beyond us. We'll be gone a long time, but our kids and grandkids and all those, there won't be nothing here if we don't deal with it.
so it's like they call it mixed waste processing. So they have like a normal recycling
Oh.
program in Minnesota. And this is just to go through what people are throwing in the garbage as like an extra measure before it's thrown out. So, I can't even remember how expensive they said it was, like in was it several millions to make this facility do, but they have these super big, heavy hammers that are just like working and like to break everything up into small pieces. Like it's very interesting.
Kind of like a screen area, so all the glass
Yeah.
and plastic drops through, and then it becomes bigger to get at the more
Yeah.
heavy. It's, but the other unique thing was they were coming up with a bag for food bags in the
Mhm.
garbage. So, and they had to come up with a bag that would have 18 months shelf life and then would break down. And that's what they're using, I'm sure, in getting their gas. It's just amazing what this is. And it used to be private. The county and group has bought it back now, and they've developed it since about 2016 on.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, but you know, there's a lot of people there. There's more in their county than in their little town probably than we have in Packer County.
Yeah,
It's a big area, but it was really an eye opener.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was crazy. Even like the bags that they went through this whole testing process where they had several different kinds of bags, and then they had like groups where they like would put the food in the bags and they tested to see how it transported on a truck and what it looks like. And then once it arrives to the facility, they separate it out. And then they're working with a couple different industrial like compost sites that would take that, and that would help get them to their diversion rate. So very interesting stuff.
very interesting.
Said it was a 70%?
75% diversion, yeah. Yeah, that's their target goal, I think by 2030. I didn't write that down.
You said they're generating gas for homes?
Yeah, so
12,500 homes are fully fueled. with
it's refuse derived fuel.
Is it pyrolysis or what? Are they generating gas or what are they generating?
I think it's,
They're
yeah.
fueling their electricity plant with
Yeah.
gas. From what I did.
So is it from the breakdown
Of the food.
food? Like I know,
I don't think, I thought they were separating the food out to compost. That's what I
Maybe.
understood, yeah.
yeah. Cause yeah, a lot of places out east and whatever have the programs where they basically burn some of the unrecyclable materials and that.
Yeah, I think it's like
Yeah.
a waste to energy thing, which in
Okay.
Wisconsin is not,
Yeah, it's not allowed in
Allowed.
Wisconsin, but
but,
Takes a whole state to change.
which
The laws,
Minnesota's a
which-
very environmentally like
Yeah.
focused state,
Yep.
so.
They got some of the best water in the world. They should.
Yeah,
Right.
so, yeah, that was the last session of the conference, and it was probably one of the most interesting, so they did a good job. Everyone was like staying engaged.
Any other comments there? Okay, are you gonna say anything about program updates or anything?
Yeah, if you wanna go to my report.
Sure, we'll go-
Um,
we'll go to you there.
We can pass these out. It's the yellow program flyer. Just got delivered today. They're gonna go out in the paper the first week of April. Some stuff that changed, we added the youth cooking oil program. Because we're trying to highlight that as a new program that people can bring that in to recycle. And then our compost bins, we're raising the price for the first time in, I don't know, we haven't raised them in the 5 years I've worked here, so who knows how many years it's been, but they're more expensive now as everything else is. So that's changing, and then we're also adding a kitchen catcher compost pail that we're gonna sell. They're gonna be $25. It's a stainless steel gallon bucket with a lid and a handle. And then that way people can collect their food scraps in their house first, and then once that's full, bring it out to the compost bin. we ordered half the number of those from bins that we got. So we'll see how popular they are. And then next year, if we need more, we can do that. But yeah, so that's the yellow program flyer. We've had people already asking for them for the year, so they're popular. It'll be good to get that out. And then I submitted a article for the Farmington, Town of Farmington Spring Summer newsletter that they do every fall and spring. And then HR does a every other month newsletter for Wapaka County. And we'll have information about the compost bin included in that, the sales, and then we're doing the second time around an Earth Day challenge. So if Wapaka County employees pick up litter the week of Earth Day
Wait, we're going.
and turn in or show proof that they did that, then they get 70 points for their Go 365. So I keep track of all of that. People will send me their pictures of the garbage they picked up, and then I send a list of names to HR, and we'll have some buckets and grabbers if people want to do it on their walks at work. So that's as much as I have for education. And then for program, I just submitted our MRF self-certification, which is what we need to process recyclables on the PTF. And then I'm just waiting for a couple more reports so I can finish up the annual recycling report to the DNR. And that should do it for me.
Any questions for Taylor? Okay, Joe, you're up next, PTF.
Oh, I'm sorry, a quick one, Taylor. Did you hear from the Wapaka Middle School?
Yes, and I have to email her back. Thank you for the reminder. And it's not going to be on a Friday when I'm out of town, so.
Good, good, all right. So
We gotta
John,
sign that to Mary Ann. Mary Ann can do that.
Yeah, I'm sure she wants to come
What-
talk
what-
with eighth graders after she's
Oh,
retired.
okay. Put you to work in your retirement, you know.
actually, I think I'm gonna join them and be a chaperone.
There you go.
Pressure's on, Taylor.
She's already seen me do it every year, so it's fine.
That'll keep Mary Ann off the streets and out of trouble, right?
Yep.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Well, I got Tom Johnson watching over her because they're neighbors.
Keep me off the pickleball court.
Yeah.
Right again, PTF, Joe.
Okay, well, things have been down a little bit because of the weather. Otherwise, should be picking up pretty soon. Pretty much finished all our winter projects, serviced our balers, all the equipment, greased everything.
Oh.
up for- Ready for the summer. Loader's working great. I wish we would have went to that before. Had that one, but, and then as, we were talking about CIP projects, last I heard, our counters will be in for the front office at the end of March. They should be done, so. Otherwise, that's all I got.
Any questions for Joe? Nope. Moving forward, on director report.
Well, I just had a couple things, just updates. April 6th, I guess we're supposed to meet with, we as a department heads are supposed to meet with the space needs study people. They're coming to each department in the courthouse to talk to us one-on-one about the needs we have in our office spaces, you know, whether you need more room or you can do with less, or how you're doing storage, this kind of stuff. They did that the last go around too. So we'll see if they've got any new questions for us this time around. So that's coming up April 6th. And then another thing some of you may know about was the finance department has a they hired a company to come in and do a study on their operations and how they do things and what are suggestions for how to do things better. And I was talking to Heidi and she suggested that, or not suggested, said that maybe this study would also involve some of our operations that involve money, like up at the PTF, and how we deal with money, basically, is their main focus, obviously finance. But so part of that study they're having done, they may come and talk to us on how we do things and see if there's some way that would make more sense, if there's a better way to do things or not. I know some of the things finance is looking at is, does it make sense if they were to, all the financial stuff on second floor, they have a separate little department up there for that finance on second floor. Does it make sense to combine those things? And so that's kind of what this study that finance is paying for is supposed to come up with some answers for. So could be interesting, might not impact everybody or anybody in our little realm, but it could be a good way to streamline a few things. So that'll be out there, just give you a heads up on that. Otherwise, I don't have anything else. So.
Any questions, anybody? Okay, upcoming meeting, next regular board meeting will be the 10th of April at 3:30. I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion. We are adjourned.
All right.
Don't need a second.
And it's 4:16. And you wanna stop the statement?
No, I didn't see you this morning.
All right, we'll see y'all.
I see you every morning when I.
Okay, take care.
Okay.